Guys, gals, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Liquid Hotshot. In today's video, we're going to be talking about something that I think Cold War Zombies needs. It's a bit of a different one. Not many people have spoke about it, okay? But I think for Cold War Zombies to be a success and as good as it can be, and potentially on par with Black Ops 3 Zombies, as well as, you know, increase on that, I think they need this. And what they need is survival maps. Now, you're probably thinking, hey, you know, Liquid, what do you mean by survival maps? Well, if you were around in the Zombies community for a while, you probably have played since maybe Black Ops 1, Zombies, and even World at War. Now, obviously, in the start of Zombies, everything was rather bare bones at the start with Nacht. And then, you know, as things go into Verrückt, Shi No Numa, and Der Riese, things, you know, begin to elevate your Zombies experience with additions like perk machines, power, traps and stuff like that. All elevated the player's experience, but was still, you know, it was easy to jump in and you didn't have to do anything really major, you know, to get set up. You know, you had that bit of progression through the game, and the addition of power and stuff like that allowed players to kind of have a goal at the start of the game. Okay, well, the perks are all disabled. We need to go and get power. Which way's power? That sort of thing. Okay, and as you can see in the background gameplay, we're playing Kino der Toten on Zombies Chronicle. I recorded this gameplay yesterday, but in Kino's probably one of the most beloved Zombies maps of all time. It is kind of overrated. It is a very fun map to play if you've got some friends to play. The footage I just got from a public match I had to play yesterday, basically. But yeah, and Kino kind of stepped it up from Der Riese. Obviously, Kino was meant to be in World at War, but ended up being one of the disc maps for Black Ops 1. So I think that's why it got so much love, because it was a disc map. But you, like in Der Riese, you had the simple steps to get Pack-a-Punch. Pack-a-Punch was a new feature in Der Riese. You have to obviously get yourself to the courtyard, turn on the power, and then from there you need to activate 3 teleporters to the mainframe, or at least link them, sorry, to the mainframe to unlock the door so you can Pack-a-Punch your weapons. And then obviously that allows you to survive higher into the rounds, you know, with stuff like that. And in the life cycle of Black Ops 1, you kind of went from the, you know, 5 and Kino both elevating the zombie experience with different sets of progression, stuff like that. Basically, in 5 you had to increase the DEFCON level, turn on the power, and obviously you had one of the new boss, you know, the scientist who came and stole your weapons, the Pentagon Thief, as he's known in the community, and it provided an elevation of Zombies experience. You know, from Yukino, for example, it was more challenging. It was more closed off. It made you feel secluded, kind of like maps like Verrückt did back in World at War and stuff like that. But in the cycle of Black Ops 1, the maps got larger and larger as people learned to train zombies. Training kind of started. People had the ability to start training in Shi No Numa, and then Der Riese really allowed players to develop that training, but also gave the players the opportunity to use the coveted strategy of camping in a corner and stuff like that, and it worked, and people had a lot of fun, a lot of replayability. What weapons do you get? What perks do you use? And stuff like that. But in Black Ops 1, the maps got larger and larger, and the progression got longer and longer. As you saw on Ascension, as you saw on Call of the Dead, as you saw on Shangri-La, and the steps got harder and harder, and especially with Moon. Casuals don't like Moon because it's a very, very difficult map. Okay, and then as we went into Black Ops 2, we got Transit, Die Rise, Mob of the Dead, Buried, and Origins. Now, obviously, we know that Jimmy Zielinski did Transit, Die Rise, Buried, and we know that Jason Blundell did Mob of the Dead and Origins. And you can see the differences between the maps. Jimmy Zielinski obviously used the tried, he was trying to innovate at least with Buried, Transit, and Die Rise. And so did Jason Blundell, and Blundell kind of put everything we knew about zombies and flipped it on its head, adding buildable parts that became more required to survive longer in a zombies match. And that kind of became the staple throughout Black Ops 3, and the progression went from being very, very small and getting the power on, getting your perks and stuff, and then killing zombies. And then that obviously got elevated with Pack-a-Punch, trying to turn on the power, link the teleporters, unlock Pack-a-Punch your weapons, get your perks, stuff like that. But in Black Ops 2 Mob of the Dead and Oranges, as well as the Black Ops 3 maps, there were multiple buildables on the maps. So you had, for example, I'm just going to take Origins for example. You have to turn on all 6 generators to get access to the Pack-a-Punch. I kind of like that system. It worked, but you also had the buildable shield, you had the staffs that you could build and upgrade. So there was a lot of progression there, and at launch it was a difficult map. Not many people knew what to do, and for casuals, most casuals might just like jumping into zombies, not looking up a guide on YouTube, for example. And it's one of those. And I think in late Black Ops 2 and at the start of Black Ops 3, casuals became like, they kind of forgot about casuals. And I don't mean, people don't just jump into zombies to play fun, everyone does the Easter egg. I'm not meaning that. I'm meaning the progression became so large that average and casual players had to look up guides to build the shields, guides to build the staffs, guides to build the bows for a Dire Eisendrache, guides to unlock Pack-a-Punch for Shadows of Evil, and stuff like that. And it became a very long progression for casual players. I mean, obviously some people on launch day on Black Ops 3, when they're playing Shadows of Evil, it was a difficult map, and if you don't take your time to learn the map, it is seen in the community as a bad map for that reason. And I feel as though the basic standard maps that we know and love are sometimes the most simple with progression. Kino is very good at showing this example. Sometimes it's overrated. I feel as though it is a good map, but it is overrated. It has your easy progression to unlock power, and then Pack-a-Punch. All you need to do is link the teleporter from the theater to the teleporter in the starting room, and then you run in on gas and you can teleport to Pack-a-Punch whenever you like, obviously with the cooldown system and stuff like that. Don't worry. And I feel as though in later maps it became harder and harder at the start to get there, rather than when you were set up and continuing to do it. What I mean by this is, in maps like Kino, it didn't take long to get Pack-a-Punch and power, and then you were set up, then you were fine, you could go whenever. But in maps like Origins and like the Eisendrache, it became a longer task to actually get all your shield parts, so you couldn't get hit behind. Get your Ragnarok pieces, for example, get your bow, and unlock Pack-a-Punch. Now, I'm a fan of buildables and stuff like that, but for the casual players, a lot of people like Der Riese, or the Giant remake on Black Ops 3, as well as Kino der Toten, and one of them, which is actually the thumbnail of this video, Town. Now, Transit was a very big map, and I think Jimmy Zielinski did a very good job in Black Ops 2, in that life cycle, to split that map up. It was a very innovative map when it came out, and it was loved by the community when Transit first released. But as time went on, people found it very tedious, very long map. Again, very long to get set up, and that's the trend we've kind of gone with in recent years. And I think no one's batting an eyelid at the fact that sometimes people just want to jump on and play. And I think the small amount of progression in Der Riese and Kino are fine. But I think maps like Town, where you spawn in, the power's already on, you just need to open the doors and gain access to the perk rooms. And Pack-a-Punch being over lava, it's the simplicity sometimes that keeps players playing. Now, what I mean by that, I've recently played a lot of Town on Black Ops 2, and it is literally the simplicity that keeps me playing. I don't have to run around half of the map to turn on power, then from there go on a quest to unlock Pack-a-Punch. I spawn in, power's already on. All I need to do is open the rooms with perks in, for example, the bar with Quick Revive and the other building with Jug, and then obviously you got double tap in your second box location and Speed Cola in the bank as well as Tombstone if you're playing co-op. And it's the simplicity that allows players to put many hours in and have the same enjoyment. They're immediately hooked. Right, okay, well, I'm just playing zombies. That's what you're doing, you're playing zombies. And sometimes it feels as though the storyline became bigger than the gameplay. Black Ops 2 was a good game. It was a good game because of Mob of the Dead, Origins, and the innovative overall from Jimmy Zielinski and Jason Blundell. That is what got a lot of players to Black Ops 3. The innovative, and the fact that people could play zombies on Black Ops 2 whilst waiting for Black Ops 3 3 years later, bear in mind, when they still had the 3-year production cycle and development cycle, made Black Ops 2 one of the best Call of Duty Zombies games ever. It was its innovation that made it what it is today. But what I'm talking about now is the fact that in Black Ops 3 there was not much innovation. Yes, there were with swimming in Zets. That became a feature in Black Ops 3. That was active in multiplayer. People could swim in certain multiplayer maps, and that became a feature in Zombies in Zetsubou no Shima, as well as in Gorod Grovey and stuff like that. And Black Ops 3 is regarded as probably the best Zombies game of all time because the diversity of the maps, but the player, it doesn't matter. The player kind of got shadowed by how many things they had to build. Some of the maps are build-a-thons. For example, Zets was a build-a-thon. Origins was a build-a-thon. Der Eisendrache, whilst seen as probably the greatest Zombies map of all time. And I'll take that with a pinch of salt, depending on who you are. But everyone loved it. Everyone loved it because it was new and it worked. In Black Ops 4, granted, I haven't played much Black Ops 4, so you could probably just whack my opinion out of the goddamn window. But Black Ops 4 tried to innovate in a different way. The people who made Black Ops 4, obviously Jason Blundell and his Treyarch dev team, tried to innovate with Black Ops 4, not in the same way that his original maps like Mob of the Dead and Origins innovated and then Black Ops 3 built upon. More of the perk system got innovated. Now, obviously every game, as you can see in this gameplay, I've got Jug, I've got double tap, I'll have stamina up in a minute, and I'll have Speed Cola. Some of the most used perks, and they tried to innovate with the perk system by choosing what perks you want on the map. You know, how the health system worked. You know, there was no Jug in Black Ops 4, this, that, and the other. And it didn't work. Partially because release was so bad with all the blue screens and errors, so then that made everyone hate the game so more. And then I feel as though they didn't know what they wanted to do. I feel as though they wanted to know what they wanted to do, sorry, but they didn't know how to do it. What I mean by this is they knew that the main storyline was going to come to an end. That's why they added in the new story arc, the Chaos story arc. But no one was hooked on it because when they added in the 4 characters in Shi No Numa, when they added in the very first 4 characters: Dr. Edward Richtofen, Nikolai Belinsky, Takeo Misaki, and Tank Dempsey in Shin Onuma. It was something they did for you, and you jumped in, you were already a zombie fan, and you're like, oh, okay, so I'm playing as if I'm this character now. Okay, that's pretty cool. But in Black Ops 4, they kind of said, well, okay, we've got this new storyline. Instead of just dropping them in and building the storyline around them, they had a story in mind of what they wanted to do with them, but none of the community really felt any love to the Chaos guys, because they just kind of threw them in there and said, hey, look, you know, you should like these guys. This is a new cool storyline. Take it or leave it. And obviously the Chaos fans out there, I do apologise, but, you know, it is what it is. So this is what I'm saying. In Cold War Zombies, Die Maschine looks massive. Obviously, above ground, you've got Nacht der Untoten, you've got, outside area with a crashed plane where we saw the 4 players playing and the chopper gunner come down and kill some zombies there. We've also got people, you know, they've got the whole underground area where Die Maschine is actually a thing. It looks like an absolutely massive map. Now, what I think they may do, don't quote me on this, but to take that survival element, that simplicity, for example, Town, where you jump in, Pack-a-Punch is already right in front of you. You just need to grab your perks and have fun. If Die Maschine, you know, they might go and split the map up into certain different segments with different perks in there to allow the players to jump in and immediately have fun. I think Die Maschine, we'll probably have buildables because it's kind of become a staple to have a zombie shield now and stuff like that. And people who play maps without zombie shields, you know, sometimes they think, oh yeah, you know, this map should have a shield. And, or, you know, this map should have some sort of buildable to help us aid against the zombie onslaught, so to speak. And it's understandable because that's been the way of zombies for multiple games and multiple years now. Almost a decade, since 2012 we've had buildables in zombies. 8 years, around that long. But I feel as though having survival maps will just aid zombie replayability. You could play the whole of Die Maschine with a 4-man crew, but if you don't like the challenge of building everything and getting to power and Pack-a-Punch in solo, feel free to play this segment of the map where you've got all 4 of your perks, you've got maybe a few traps, you've got the mystery box location, or you might go even bare bones than that, and it might be like a bus depot, for example, where there's no perks, no power, and just a mystery box. Kind of like what Nacht was back in the day. And I feel as though Cold War Zombies, like I said in my previous Zombies video, it has the potential to be another Black Ops 3. It has the potential to be a very good Zombies game with free post-launch content. So, you know, at launch, they could just release Die Maschine. But maybe after a month of listening to the community, they might actually drop a survival map. They might cut the map up into multiple pieces. Or they might add a segment onto the map. We don't know, and I feel as though free content for the community after launch is one of the biggest and best things Treyarch and Activision could have done for the Zombies community. And on that note, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a little bit of a different one. I like Zombies, I absolutely love it. So, you know, I played the first ever Zombies map I played was Nacht der Untoten. I played the World at War campaign as a child and played Nacht der Untoten, and I kid you not, I shat myself many times. Well, not literally, but I got so scared. It made you feel isolated and stuff like that. But it was a very good map, and I like how the evolution of Zombies has come over the years as I've grown up from a little child who's like, oh, well, this is really scary, to, okay, I want to do an Easter egg now. You know, I want to do a storyline, want to make content on it. So that's why I feel as though we've got it on the channel. But yeah, guys, if you've enjoyed today's video, please do drop a like down below. It helps greatly. Subscribe if you're new. We're going to be covering Cold War as soon as it comes out, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a video on it on release date. Obviously, I don't know what it is because none of us have played it early. But that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to have launch day content, and November's probably going to be filled with zombies and Cold War content nonetheless. But yeah, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.